A country boy at heart, Tim West comes from a long line of apple orchardists. His great-grandfather William purchased the property Balmoral in 1885. The farmer's seen many booms and busts in the industry over the years, but like typical farmers, Tim remains optimistic.
Despite all its pitfalls, it's a great lifestyle. You know, you're your own boss and you're achieving something each year.
Ideal growing conditions have resulted in huge yields across the country.
Yeah, it's been the largest crop we've ever picked. So now we've just got to market the fruit, pay a few bills, and hopefully sell at a profit.
But it's not all good news. At the end of last year, legislation was passed allowing for the importation of apples from New Zealand. This has caused serious concerns for Central West growers, with fears that the market would be flooded with lower priced apples that they simply cannot compete with. A market based on supply and demand has meant many Central West farmers are feeling the crunch. Tim West explains there are a range of factors to blame.
Supermarkets is one, and probably oversupply, and not enough people are eating fruit.
A group of local orchardists have banded together to form the Toac Fruit Cooperative, which has been designed to ensure that apple farmers in Orange don't get left behind in the tough market.
It gives growers a bigger voice. Acting as a group or being an orchardist as a group can often have a stronger impact, whether selling into the Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Adelaide markets.
The brand boasts superior quality and has received support from a number of local businesses. Four-time Australian Greengrocer of the Year winner Country Fruit attributes their success to their locally sourced produce.
The local apples are every bit as good as the New Zealand, and everyone in Australia should be supporting Australian products.
It's a sentiment shared by many community-based grocers.
No, I don't think Harris Farm will ever stock imports. We support our local farmers.
Despite this, it appears the supermarket apple war will always be won by convenience and cost.
Mothers with young children and that haven't got a lot of time to shop around, so they buy their fruit and veggies at the supermarkets, and sometimes I think they don't justify our fruit with the quality.
Supporting local apple growers is the last thing on mother of two Annabelle Hilston's mind when feeding her family.
But when you're trying to put together a lunchbox, you know, it's very price driven, so you'll find that that is what drives people's purchase most of the time.
Peter Darley is a second-generation orchardist and has been a key voice for the industry through his role as Vice President of the New South Wales Farmers Association. He is currently lobbying for a benchmark price on each apple variety to stabilise the market.
The old business of ringing up the grower and said, I've got you $10 a case for your fruit this week, but the market was tough. Those days are gone.
The competitive industry is not the only challenge facing Central West apple growers. They've also been forced to contend with a serious biosecurity risk posed by the importation of apples from New Zealand.
In general, I suppose confidence in the apple industry, is dropping a bit, but biosecurity is just one of many problems.
Fire blight and apple leaf curling midge are the major threats posed by these overseas apples. The local Department of Primary Industries has been encouraging producers to keep an eye out for these destructive diseases. Experts suggest that once discovered in Australia, it will be too late, and our reputation as a clean green exporter will be tarnished.
The disease, I know it wipes out whole orchards, not only in New Zealand but in other countries as well. It's hard to say how long it will take, whether the disease will move more quickly because we are warmer.
It doesn't matter how good apples we have, it doesn't matter how good we produce them, the varieties, doesn't matter if they bring in outside, for example, diseases, you'll have no industry.
This is the first time in 90 years the federal government has allowed the importation of apples, and it's come under heavy criticism for it. Industry professionals are worried.
Over a matter of time they've been worn down by red tape and by lack of support from the government of the day.
I think it's a disgrace. I don't think the government should allow it. I don't think consumers should support it. I don't think shops should buy them to give them an outlet.
And if biosecurity risks weren't a big enough problem for Central West farmers, the growing mining industry will be sure to turn many orchard owners away from the industry. Unable to compete with the high wages offered, job losses are on the horizon for local apple producers.
I think just at the moment everything's about mining, and they're letting food production and other industries just not interested in them.
Apple farming has now taken a backseat to mining and medical industries, which are now the key drivers of the orange economy. The profile of this town as an agricultural producer is undergoing a transformation, forcing some farmers to sell up and leave their family legacies behind.
There becomes a time in your life that you want to smell the roses instead of having them on top of you. So you count the number of young people, probably 25 to 30 on one hand, that's involved in the industry, and that's in Orange.
For now, the future is still uncertain.
Yeah, I think everybody's feeling it. It's still going, but it is very tough. Whether in hindsight they would have started out and knowing what was going to happen, it's hard to say.
It's a long road ahead for brothers Tim and Peter, but they're determined to continue in the footsteps of their forefathers.
I suppose we've just got to tough it out for the next few years till things settle down and see how we go from there.
Sally Rafferty, Regional Insight.